Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us. We're here and we're live, and it's a Friday night, so you know what we're going to be getting up to. And do you know, I actually thought we were on track for probably a big bumper stream here on a Friday night. We've kicked the door open, we've sent the usual invitations out, and I'm on my Sweeney. I'm on my Sweeney Todd for the moment. We'll see if anyone else, while the doors are open, anyone else cares to come in and join us. Some of the usual guests have already let me know they can't not make it, but the door's open. There's some links sent out around the interwebs. And we'll see if anyone else pops in to join us. But it's been a big week, guys. And hey, maybe we'll be getting stuck into a little bit more direct interaction with the chat tonight. So we'll just kind of see how it all goes. The kind of the main idea I always wanted to do with this stream, or with the stream that we would need to bring into the channel next, which has kind of been this one that is a bit more relaxed, one that's a bit more kind of chilled out. It's not like, we're coming on to do something, let's get on and do it, let's get stuck straight into it kind of vibe. So a little bit of a different change of pace. I've not got anyone to bounce off it tonight, but all the same, I think we can still keep the same sort of tempo that we've been looking to do in this stream anyway, which is all good chat. I did suspect it was going to be a big one because, as we all know, everyone who's here, we had the winter gameplay update. It's been a bit of a tongue twister for me, and it's I don't think it's really divided opinion too much actually. I think for as much as like there was some upset and some not even necessarily controversy, but some discussion in the aftermath, I don't think there's overall any outwardly negative elements of it where there is like there's a divide in the community or anything like that. Everyone's quite, I think, okay, it's a slight change, a slight tweak, and we'll move on and we'll adjust and we'll adapt a long time with it, and we'll just kind of roll with the punches as it were. Mini-Me was in first and loud. I've seen you nice and early in the chat. Good to see you. Sorare Burra. Mikey Baston straight from OnlyFans. Love to see it, mate. Chat and the Deadline show was good crack. Hucker520, my man, as well. Good to see you. Apocalypto, my man. Ian Sorare, of course, as always. Boyson, good to see you. And looking for food. Good to see you. Good to see you. Love it. So, yeah, I don't really know where to start because I don't have anyone to kind of say, so what's your thoughts? And then we can kind of go from there. I've kind of went through my thoughts often enough, I suppose, across the last couple of streams, the unboxing thing, we did a video afterwards, and just being in general content, I suppose, rounding about the last couple of days. And it's been action-packed. I meant to mention this in the Deadline show earlier on, but the chat's picking up with Mikey again. But I meant to say this in the Deadline show earlier, is released Zero to Hero earlier today, and it is potentially the biggest giveaway that we've done on that show in this series, in this season or whatever. So if you haven't caught that, if you're watching this after we're live or after the live show ends, if you are with us live, be sure to check out the Zero to Hero series. It's definitely worth checking out, definitely worth getting involved in this video. Ouch, cop lice. And yeah, be sure to let me know what you've got from the midweeks. LaFont in a tier 2, that is just brutal right now with Lopez, of course, going to Nantes. So that's a tough one. But hopefully he's on his way out. Nantes are not a uber rich club, and having two goalkeepers of that stature, I suppose the only silver lining is it's kind of hard to imagine to keep both of them, really. So let's see how all that shakes out. But I'll tell you one thing, maybe it's a kind of little conversation piece we can get ourselves rolling around with, okay? But one thing that kind of dawned on me after the Deadline show, me and Harry were sitting chatting. Me and Harry had a big chat in the day of, just chatting about, because we had some differences in the initial kind of takes on some stuff, and we were chatting again at the end of the Deadline show, which was all good. But it wasn't until like maybe about half an hour afterwards, I was just sorting out some food and all the rest of it, and it just kind of occurred to me that with the change that we've now got, and this has probably been maybe obvious to some of you guys, pardon me, with the change that we've now got to the regions, with Brazil moving into contender, if I can find the announcement, where the hell has it went? News is probably what we're after. There we go. With the change of region for Brazil moving into contender, I thought, that's quite cool, because like in general for me, because I've got a few Brazil cards, and if they can complement the contender stuff, then that's just a win for me. But with it being European-based challenger, it also means it's not 12 months long, which is, because I was saying to Harry, we might have touched on it in the stream, because we did get into some chat in the stream, didn't we? But it might have been afterwards, I forget. But we did talk about it, like, why couldn't they just keep it in challenger? Then it's just more places to play your cards, etc., etc. But it means then they can actually fully close challenger. And it means contender will be the only thing that runs 12 months of the year in terms of a region and all of the, the obligations that they've got when a region's open in terms of in-season classic, cash and the payout and whatever that they're looking to maintain across the season for, you know, the ratios that they put out there for how many licensed clubs and players and whatever are involved. So that's an interesting little dynamic. Like, Challenger is quite it's just like mini champ now, you know, and I think that's kind of obvious on the face of it, but in terms of like part of the thing with Challenger for the short time we've had it, and you know what we get from Contender is that, you know, 12-month access. Like for me, I've mainly Celtic Gallery, buying Efra Alvarez, being happy James Rodriguez has went to Mexico. You know, that's kind of on the agenda for me potentially because of the region I play and operate in. Part of this also came to my mind, part of the reason this also came to my mind is because regionally, Contender most weekends does pay out a little bit more than Contender because of the amount of teams and everything that are available in it. And I was thinking, oh, Brazil going in there is now extra teams, so maybe that helps. Like the Contender, like actual pot, I think is normally like smaller than the Contender one. The Challenger smaller than the Contender because of head counts and stuff. So just thought it was an extra little kind of crease, an extra little kind of detail that I hadn't quite chewed on myself. But I thought it was an interesting one, even if it's just from their point of view for the change. Because in my breakdown video, I did kind of put it out there that maybe in the August one they might turn around and go, European guys like Scotland, Croatia, Austria, up you come. But that then gets sticky with the Bundesliga 2 stuff and all the rest of it. So actually, the more I think, it's probably just maybe going to be kind of the way it is at the moment. Maybe another kind of tweak or adjustment to the regions. I wouldn't completely rule it out, but I wouldn't say it's automatically assumed or likely that we get some of that European migration from Contender to Challenge. It very much could, I suppose, couldn't it? Because it's those second tier ones. Like, what do you do with them anyway? I forget Russia's in here as well, Switzerland and Norway. So I don't think you could quite like scoop all of them across. We do have somebody coming in to join us, which is great to see. And I can't think of anything funny to say, but he's here and he's back. Regular appearer on the Go Fuck Friday stream. It's the one, the only SR Downbar. Charlie boy, good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. I'm a bit under the weather, but I thought I'd jump on since you're by yourself.
Come on and throw me a life raft, Charlie. I love that.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a wee bit of that going around. How you feeling?
Yeah, not too bad, but yeah, just a bit under the weather, bit shitty. So I managed to watch some football though, and I was watching the Monaco game earlier. So yeah, just
I seen your message in the Telegram, and I thought, let's see when you said what's going on. I wasn't sure if you weren't watching and you wanted to know what was going on, or if you were watching and you're going, "What the hell is this?"
No, it was like this just starting the second half, and then he just like stopped for 5 minutes. I don't really know what's going on. Obviously, I've not got commentary on, so it was just like I don't know what was happening.
Yeah, I'm just catching up with a wee bit of the chat as well. Charlie, I was just talking about the kind of regional kind of little tweaks, and I know you've also been listening before jumping in or whatever. I don't know if you caught it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Challenger being like a European calendar competition now fully is a bit of an element into this, perhaps, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure you remember, but I think I actually called it on one of these shows a few weeks ago that it would be an option for if MLS was to get to a region to move Brazil down.
Yeah,
and obviously that's happened, but yeah, I think it kind of makes sense in one way, but it also has a few problems in others, obviously, like because it is siloed now MLS. But yeah, I think it's kind of the right move, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just I think the part of it that just really did stick in my mind for quite a lot until that kind of little epiphany or whatever was like, no, not even the Prem has had that treatment. It's not like, oh well, the Prem's just going to get shafted over here into its own kind of thing, and
yeah,
not that the Prem should or anything like that, but you would think if it's like special treatment or something like that, that might have been top of the front of the queue. As the chat's been tonight about people getting in queues and all that. Some great interactions here from the chat as well. Gaza saying that he'd love SPFL in Austria to move to Challenger, and French get their own region as well. Yeah, if they could do with their own league competition, I think that's not something I would totally rule out, but it doesn't feel likely. Moving the championship down, yeah, would make a little bit of sense, I guess.
I'll be honest, I'm vocally against that.
Yeah,
I think it's like the championship is way better than every single league. I think it's better than Belgium. As much as I like Belgium, I think it's way better than Belgium, like as a league.
Guys, I knew you were going to say that. I think that comment was right behind us before you even said it. I'm kind of like, I I think with the championship, where I ultimately lie on it is Premier League relegation is what it is
I
more
get that,
than.
yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
if you have Premier League teams that go relegated, do you want them as the card owner, as Sorare, as you, the player, whatever you want to think of it as? Do you want them getting relegated and then in the muck with Austria and Bundy 2 and all the rest of it? Or could you at least win a wee cheeky Benfica card with it, who might end up even transferring into the Prem if you maybe get, bounce back promotion, or some of the better players from the relegated team go through windows and stuff like that. So I think it's just closer to champion, isn't it? So, like, if you...
Yeah, I think that. Like, if you compare it to, like, Ligue 2 or Bundesliga 2, it's just like personally, I think it's just worlds apart.
I think standard of football, I think Bundesliga 2 is maybe a wee bit apart from the other ones, because
I agree with that.
So close. It's so close to the Bundesliga, the top half of it. But the bottom end of it is wild, Bundesliga 2, it's just crazy. But no, I'm with you. Like, it's it's got the most money in it, and the amount of like Burnley are up the top at the moment, so are Leeds, Sunderland maybe less so, but there's a lot of like Prem-ish clubs there. That
even if you look at some of the players, like people
Enzo
like
Liffey.
James Trafford, like people like Esteve for Burnley, like there's so many people that are like, it would feel, I don't know. I just don't think it should be in contender personally.
Yeah, I think that's always my stopping point.
I get
there's not many licenses, because it's like, if it was a full league, maybe different, but the main body of licenses is relegated teams, isn't it?
Yeah.
And yeah, Mikey Baston's backing up the entertainment value here on Bundy 2. It's definitely not a dull league. I don't think anyone would accuse of that. Torridor here, is there any chance MLS cards could not be played and win an All-Star? Yeah, you can still, by all accounts, there's nothing stopping you going under 23 or with specials with them in any way. But as you know, like, there's no like classic in-season counterpart. There's no guarantee on multi-entry with some of these things. Like, under 23 feels like it's got that there, but the specials sometimes, most of the time, it's double entry, isn't it? But sometimes it is single. It's very rarely triple.
Yeah, usually it's double entry, I would say.
So it's just that kind of unknown element of that. It's maybe just part of it to think about. I do quite like for those people that are kind of like bummed out, like if you did have like a challenger MLS gallery, like you were building that kind of like you play Belgium and MLS or Holland and MLS or something. I think like I've been in that kind of situation with the way my galleries had to evolve over the last year, and it's kind of coming more to the fore at this stage because of some of the Celtic transfers and whatever that have happened. But I don't mind keeping those region cards, the cards in the region I have no intention of actually playing or whatever, to get the specials off the ground, or to give me active goalkeepers that don't take away from my champ in season or my Celtic stuff or whatever. They can make sure that if I do have some pieces left for the special, it can have a chance. It can go and fight.
Yeah, the one thing I would say, obviously, there was a little bit of pushback on like if people had planned forward and stuff, but I think the only planning forward that would kind of be ripped to the ground is Brazil. But there's such a small amount of covered teams in Brazil. Like not only licensed team, but like people who even have cards. Like it seems to just be a handful. Like most of the teams barely even have a player that's actually got a card, I would say. You've only got like Depay and the likes and a few Botafogo players that would, I think would really make a difference. And would you be playing them? Obviously, they've got massively different calendar. It feels like Brazil plays every game week, like even midweek. So I'm not sure if it would really completely ruin your strategy.
Yeah, I think if you do have Brazil cards, you're definitely going to be sore about it.
Yeah, you'd be right. Yeah, I think so.
Because the thing with challengers, because it was so kind of lean, it's like, if you get Brazil cards and what you winning with them, and if you can get those kind of wee island game weeks or just cheat codes, because looking at those challenger leagues, like, see game week to game week, how many clean sheets are between those divisions? You know what I mean? Like, not much. So getting a wee Brazil goalkeepers, also has no Mexico or Argentina, you could just maybe muscle through a few 70s for you, or whatever might have been a strategy. So yeah, it's definitely a wee bit of a kick in the stones in that one, but I think it's like short-term pain for long-term gain, because it's now like all the Americas are kind of together. So like some of these Brazil cards are going to leave and go to Argentina or go to fucking Paraguay or whatever, so just makes that a bit cleaner.
Yeah, how how are you? Like, what's your plans for MLS? How are you looking going into it? Obviously, you've got the New York collection, but has it like kind of ignited anything to really like jump back into it? Or
Wrong button, sorry. So I was actually kind of up for, like, I've been saying this for the last, it feels like the last 2 years. Like about 2 years ago, I was like, oh, I really want to follow Brazil this year. And then I just never really done it. I kind of bought a few guys that went to the Man City team and then they just started not playing and stuff. And then I was just, let's sack this. And I've been kind of guilty on the NYC like supporter status of thinking I've not actually been watching that many games and I really should get back to it.
Yeah.
And I kind of lined myself up for trying to do that this year. And particularly with the studio change or whatever, I'm just it's a bit easier because MLS is generally like later games and stuff, you know. So I was definitely up for the cup anyway. We all kind of half anticipated or hoped that this would happen in a sense as well. So like I'm definitely up for it. Obviously, you know, you would have seen it. There's an MLS video we've got going out on the channel tomorrow evening. Members can watch it now if they want to. It's out and about. So I've kind of already kind of laid out some thoughts and feelings on like the market and how it will move and stuff like that. But I'm quite keen because of what I've seen to Harry on the show. I'm sure it was when we were live. And again, thoughts and feelings on this, Charlie, and anyone in the chat. But with the threshold thing, it's also in a multi-entry situation. So I think it's going to feel like, you know, you're not really competing for it until you get 3 full teams at it. That's the way it's going to feel. So I think when some people get that penny drop when like the division opens and you put your teams in all of a sudden, there will be a real first to give me 15 cards, you know, like give me 15 cards, give me, you know, depending on what the target is and how it works out and all the rest of it. And I'm not in a rush involved in that nonsense because I've just done it so many times over the last 5 seasons. I'm just done by it, you know. I'm happy. I'll wait my turn, you know. I'll wait to. I used to wait for serial number like 6, but now I think I'm at like 26 before I'm thinking about buying guys in season. But I'm certainly keen. I'm certainly interested, and I think like again, it'd be very underestimated by a lot of people how much time you've got. Like, how many games of utility do you really need to give up to get a pretty sweet discount? It's kind of part of the balance. And we tried to do it in the video. It's not amazing for maybe that specific point, but you know, we tried to highlight there's a few. If you just stay watching cards, you know who you want. You know, that's a big part of the game for getting the cards now, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it obviously is a very unique league, so you can't really compare. Like, I know some of the guys who compare in the video, kind of obviously it was trying to be relevant, but it didn't really feel relevant because it's such a unique case. And obviously you've got Leagues Cup now as well, which is there's just so many games in MLS. It's just crazy.
Yeah. So so MLS are still going to shut down for a full month for that, but I don't think Mexico are. I think Mexico are kind of saying like we'll try and tandem it somehow. So
oh, really?
I can't remember the details, so don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure Mexico were less like, oh, we're shutting everything down for a month to do this, like MLS is. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do for that because obviously then, like, because again, somebody was talking about what they'll do for playoffs, but see, because MLS doesn't have any like catch net situation, like I think every instance, like Leagues Cup, the playoffs, they'll have a bespoke thing available for it, where it's, you know, like the fucking month-long Leagues Cup thing or whatever they'll do. So yeah, like I think when you factor all that in as well, like I think it's easy to people think every game they're losing is like 50% of the season, you know, like, oh, 4 games have gone. Oh, what's the point? You know, oh, I've missed the boat now. I'm behind everyone, you know, whereas like my Celtic in season has only been finished like kind of for a month and I'm not behind anyone on XP or obviously collection bonuses helped with that, but and you know some of the classic things don't exactly hold me back either. But for the large part, like my Greg Taylors and all these other guys, like 15-ish% is kind of where you want a lot of these cards at this time of the year. And you know if they're good, because again that's a kind of underestimated part of the XP is if they're high scoring cards, they get more XP, you know, because they're hitting big scores and stuff. So good players level up quicker. And obviously then you're behind people that have leveled up quicker. I get that. But I think it can be overstated, the gap you can be behind people after 4 games or 8 games or whatever.
Yeah. Obviously, we're probably expecting the cards in, a few weeks? Do you reckon?
Yeah, so match day 1 is the 22nd of Feb. So, like, I'd think in the next 10 days, somewhere around there, as a guess, you know, give it a month or so.
Their transfer window doesn't really open yet, does it? Like, it's open, but it's not. I'm pretty sure it's not like officially like. I'm sure it's like a month behind where Europe is or something like that.
Yeah, officially it opens 31st of Jan, I think.
Yeah, but obviously we kind of, like as Sorare, kind of expect cards then, if you know what I mean. So it's probably quite difficult for them.
Oh, yeah, will they wait for that? Oh, well, that'll be the window opening. So, oh, yeah, it will be busy business, won't it? So that'll be quite funny, actually. We've had this before, maybe not quite with the early access stuff or whatever, but like with the transfer window being open, guys might only get 2 cards and then go somewhere really sweet, like China or Ecuador or something, It's like, oh, you only get 2 in-season cards.
But that could be good for us if you get in season going, God knows nowhere that you're not going to get in season 4. You know what I mean? So yeah, how do you think their supply strategy changes anyway from how they did at the start of this season?
I think they'll be super happy with. And again, when we look at those charts in that video, like there's a huge congregation in the first 2 weeks where they just spam out a bunch of it. And then from there, it's that steady kind of trickle, isn't it? So I can't see them being unhappy with that method. Seem to have maximized market, kind of pool or equity or whatever. And no one's ever felt short. It's not like, I don't think anyone's had any real complaints over the availability, the pricing, like, oh, they're flooding that chat. We've not really had any of that for a while, oh, they're flooding, to stop selling cards. So one thing I wanted to pull up on this, Charlie, is because thinking about it, we're chatting about it. A lot of people have been buying in-season MLS cards already because of transfers and stuff. I've also got one, we Odin home in a packet. And I just wanted to go and see what other ones we might actually have. Now, some of them won't officially be MLS players at the moment. Like, I've still got Choupo-Moting on a red X, but there is some other guys that have moved.
Yeah, it's a nightmare, isn't it? That you can't kind of filter it properly. But
so maybe I have to, it's maybe a bit of an eye test here. Or maybe I wonder if we change it from all and then we can just do...
I don't think, like, Denki's, like, still registered as Circle of Rouge. Like, it's just, like... It doesn't seem to have anyone registered. I don't know if that's because the window hasn't officially opened yet, so they're not officially there.
That's probably the case.
Which is annoying. Obviously not Sorare's fault, but it's quite.
But like Jonathan Bamba was a good. I really wish I had a wee spare couple. I spent my spare wee couple of quid this week, but
I did a quick flip on him when I saw the news yesterday.
Oh, nice, well done.
I bought him for, where is it? £3 and I sold them for £5 as limited.
Nice.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on using them, so I just quickly bought one and then quickly sold it. So I don't know how much it is now, like, but yeah, I think he's doing really well there.
And season's going to be pretty OP. Because I don't think he's, depending on how they work it, I heard Laird and Black talking about this, depending on how they work it, but he might not get many Chicago issues.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Because he's up to like 70 cards, 60 cards at Vigo.
Is it not MLS is the first 2025 issue?
That's the question.
I think that's how they've previously done it, if I'm not wrong.
Mm-hmm. Matty Target linked to Charlotte. So we know Zaha's on the way there. Zaha's probably getting seasons.
I don't think Matt Target happens, to be honest.
Nah, fair enough. Zaha must have in seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's really expensive.
That's not bad, by the way, for Zaha's potential in MLS.
Yeah, he could, like I looked at his scores and like, I think it was for Gala. Like when he played, he was like ridiculous.
One contest machine.
Yeah.
Shot on target machine, attempted assist machine,
Yeah. It's a bit strange what happened at Leon. He seems to just come, like, he started one game for them.
Poor guy just wants to play for anyone but Crystal Palace, man. Someone give him a chance. Someone play him. He's desperate to have a career somewhere,
Probably in a few quid, but sure you've got to regret that.
Yeah, he's just desperate to do something and win something, eh?
Yeah, I get it. But...
Zanka quite famously as well around the community. He's getting season cards.
I've seen loads of tweets from Harry and I think a guy of people who've got like a 4-man ready to go of one season. Like
Love
Zanka,
that.
Zaha, Denki, Almiron, who looks to be close to gone. Yeah, I've got 2 of his rares, but I've not been in the season, which is pretty nice.
Oh, that's ouch. Yeah. How's his price went? Is it went Baluba's? Nah, by the way. That's not bad at all, is it?
Yeah.
Midfielder, but there's tons of mids. That's the problem. Is you don't really need them. But it's in season. That's maybe the aye.
So
By the way, you could buy a winning
yeah.
squad. I think already, couldn't you? Really?
Yeah, I think a lot of people have. Like Zanka could be a 60 machine there at Galaxy. Like Almiron could be scoring for assistant for fun. So could Dengi. So could Zaha. Like you could be done ball keeper.
Is Denki? Where did Denki go again? Remind me.
Cincy.
Yeah. Aye, so he's
They've
they're about to
got
lose
some
Acosta.
issues, though.
Yeah.
They've got, I think, Acosta and Oriana hadn't reported for training. I think Oriana's reported for training just now. But yeah, it seems to be a lot of talk around Acosta with the new money rule they've brought in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it seems he's going to transfer like domestically or someone. But
let's make a wee list. New watch list. MLS in season. Public. Feel free to follow it, guys. So that was just a wee thought that came to me. I thought, why not? We'll just put a wee list together since we're sitting chilling. Odenholm's obviously mine, so praying to God he turns into Puig.
Yeah.
Zanka, of course.
Yes, there's a few that have came from Asia, but obviously they're not going to be in season, which is slightly annoying.
Yeah, they'll lose that.
Is that the young bookkeeper who went to DC, I think?
Yeah, that's going to be a nightmare. Because they signed my boy as well, Baraza, and you just know, like, see when you see that they've got Baraza and then this guy from the K League,
It's
you just
not
know.
him, I don't think.
Is it not?
Hang on. I'm trying to think of his name.
You just know it's going to be a headache. You know, Baraza will play 10 games over the season.
The first one there.
Kim Jin Hong.
Yeah.
Hong.
I think that's him.
Looks good, man.
Yeah.
Again, he didn't play all the time in Korea. I don't think he'll play all the time
He's done his army duty as well. So
nice.
That the year before, I think.
He hasn't been getting into the squads and stuff like that, so fair play to him. That could be good for international retail. Like, if he's in MLS now, Korea might just start playing him, you know, the way that kind of happens with goalkeepers, you know.
Did that Zinkernagel go to Chicago?
Oh, yes, he went to America.
That's quite... that is quite a team they're trying to build, isn't it? I mean, obviously, I don't see the Neymar thing happening, but Bamba and Zinkernagel's pretty, good for MLS, let's be honest. You know what I mean?
Bamba, that's who as well. Does he have in seasons? He does. All right, let's add him. Who did you just say there again? Somebody we knew, I forgot.
No, I just said Zinkernagel and Bamba.
Bamba.
Yeah. Oh. And they've got Hugo Kuipers up front. If he can, that could be quite dangerous, them three.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll still probably concede 5 every game, but...
all they need is Neymar and they're fine.
Yeah.
Atlanta putting together... Yeah, Atlanta are doing not too bad either. Almiron.
Yeah, that Latte Lath is supposed to be quite good from Borough.
Yeah, I
Obviously
seen
no cards, but...
It looked like the other day they'd went back in for Edward again, and I was like, Jesus, man, what are they doing? I don't think Edward will do well in MLS at all.
I don't know what people... I don't rate him at all. I know you like him, but I think he's a little rubbish.
He's got a level. I think if you see him at his level, he's really good, but Prem's he's done all right, Prem, but that's like...
Yeah, he gets by, doesn't he? Yeah.
But he needs to play somewhere where he's... Yeah, not in a shit team, you know, that's... You know, it needs to be in a good team that's going to dominate the ball and make chances and stuff. But yeah, to kind of answer your question, I'm very interested in MLS overall. But I think that's the kind of thing I'm thinking of is like the completed strategy is going to be 3 5-man teams in season. That's going to take a lot to put together properly, probably. And it's probably going to take longer to put together than most people would reckon. And I'm not in a rush, but that's what we'll see how we do across the year, you know.
I think it'll be interesting to see how it goes, like whether you see people run the 5-man and try and get the threshold, or whether you just see a 4-man with Messi and that you try and go for the podium instead of the threshold. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that'll be. I think that's like it's it's kind of like the half. What was the mode? It was like kickoff. It's a wee bit like a kind of kickoff mode situation. A wee bit where it's like you've got a wee rare team, but there's a wee super rare, and it's like, oh, if I just put the super rare in, then I could play for this. But if I just play a rare and just get to grips with it, I could, you know. So it's all about that dynamic.
Unless you've got the like for like, you're at a detriment. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, because we don't know what the thresholds go. And again, I was saying to Harry, I think it will be like a kind of low, mid, high thing. Maybe there won't be like select your target. I really hope there isn't a select your target element to it.
That is just a night. Like no one ever gets it right. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, but I think they might do like because of this. I can't shake it because they said to unlock cash rewards. So I'm thinking like there's like a bottom target, which is crap, and you get some XP. A mid target, or maybe you get like 2 essence or something, and then the top one you smash it and you get like whatever the threshold is divided by 3, because they want you to do it with 3 teams, you know, to get to the 50 quid or whatever it is.
What do you think would be, say, for example, the threshold you need to hit over 400 points? What do you think the cash will be at limited and rare?
If it was over 400,
or so like something like that, or name a point score, 370 or something.
Yeah, I think like $20 is probably the number, something like that. Because I'm thinking if it's over 3 lineups, like what's the 75 is maybe the nicest number you could do over 3 numbers. You can't do 50 cleanly, you can't do 100 cleanly, 60 or 75. So yeah, 20. Yeah, sure. Well, it's not. Yeah, that'd be rare. Yeah, and limited would be like 5 at a hit, maximum 15. Just as a guess.
Yeah, it's interesting because you've also got to think about how many points would it take you to reach like just the £5 cash, and then whether it becomes stated at 370 points, that's probably a lot less than you'd need to win £5 cash normally in a comp. So whether it is whether the threshold is your first target and then you're then shooting for the actual cash leaderboard,
or is it a cherry on top of the cake? You know, you've smashed, you get 400 points, and you've got your thanks for coming on top.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, captain bonus of course as well, XP collection bonus, with lots of stuff coming into it. Harry trades my man. And in terms of the whole messy vibe you were giving us there, like, do you just play the classic messy and go for the top? Again, with the bigger accounts, when these cards do come out, because it is triple entry and all these things, like, there's going to be a huge appetite for the whale accounts to get how many cards do we think we get out in the first 2 weeks? Like 30 or something like that. So how many users want to get 3 copies? More than 10, I would suggest. So how many multiple owners do we see of those big cards, or how many of those big cards do we see go multi-owner? Or you know what I'm saying. I'm not saying it properly, but I think you know what I'm getting at. I think that will be a kind of untold element of this as well, because some of the bigger accounts have got great experience right now of cornering the leaderboard in the sense of like buying the stack or getting the power players and then owning the space for a bit, until naturally the market kind of migrates some cards around, people win shit, trade stuff and whatever. So I think a lot of the guys that have had success this year will look at this and go, right, well, I'm going in first, and I'm going in for what I want, and I think it'll be tough to win, like get top positions generally without a bit of fortune coming your way in the early couple of weeks, which kind of adds into my I'm happy to be patient angle of like
I know I did that last year with the Charlotte Limits, and I got a lot of the one-offs, and that's without the incentive of playing just against MLS and there being a threshold and there's going to be loads of cash everywhere, and that wasn't cheap. So it's going to be I think we could see, like, depending on the prize pools, which I think will probably be relatively good, I think we could see prices be really high.
I think we're going to get contender deja vu, where we're going to be like, Jesus, man, you could buy a champ goalkeeper for that, or you could buy, I think we're going to get that stuff for the creme de la creme. Certainly. And I do think, like, what everyone said about it is spot on. It's such an open competition. There is no, and again, I'm saying this for the third season in a row. People are saying there's no team to stack. Seattle Sounders, there's always a stack there. There's always a stack, and it's never been better this year.
It seems like a lot of the MLS clubs have really gone for it this off season, and they're just like, right, we're getting 3 proper DPs, and they're all going to be attackers, and it's, you know what I mean.
Well, this is the pre-World Cup here.
Yeah.
You know, so let's get all those Apple TV subscriptions. Let's get Messi really like get them a supporting cast. You know, let's get Neymar at Chicago. Let's get let's bring the band back together and let's get it happening. So I think there's like I can because they've changed the rules as well now where they can actually transfer people in the league now. So like LA can sell a guy to New York and make $10 million off it now, where previously
that is that the new rule that brought in a few weeks ago, was it?
Yeah.
And that's from what I'm hearing from all the MLS journals, that's supposed to be like that can massively shake stuff up. Like apparently Evander and Acosta are like there's a real chance both of them would move.
I think it's a big one. Because as much as like some of the clubs never really spend money or anything like that, they kind of live in their own ecosystem. Some of the clubs are wealthy, you know what I mean? And
like,
the whole American system.
Atlanta are just trying. They've just about to throw £30 million on the table for a championship striker and a bench player in the Prem. You know what I mean?
And they've already got a DP that's not really a DP that they're going to need to buy out of his deal just to do all this. And I was in a Celtic group chat when they were being linked to Kyogo, and it was like, oh well, if they sign, I can't remember who it was, but it's if they sign this other guy, then that'll be them on 3 designated players. And I looked at their DPs, and it was Maranchuk, whoever they would sign, and then this other random guy. It's like from Norway or something, a centre back. And I was in the chat, I was like, listen, if they want an RDP, that guy's getting paid. You know, that guy's going to get paid and put on a regular deal, and he'll be smiling. You know, they'll make it happen. And Atlanta do have lots of money, but I think that you know, the American system's made for parity, as we all speak about. You know, especially with the way they handle their youth system with drafting them and all the rest of it. But all of a sudden, if like the Galaxy can go and buy Evander for 10 million, and then go to this other club and buy their guy for 5 million. Yeah, the parity will probably return when they've got that money to reinvest in their squad and stuff like that, the draft system and yada yada, whatever. But like you might actually start to get like not quite a Galacticos effort, but like a domestic powerhouse effort on the go somehow. Because they're all getting around these DP contracts now by like just here, mate, here's 5 million quid for signing on, you know.
I mean, look at Miami, they've got about 5 DPs, 6 DPs. It's crazy.
There we go. This guy Gregerson. I was like, who the hell is this, and how did he become a DP at Atlanta? You know, of all the teams.
Yeah, it's crazy.
New MLS rule destroyed Thiago. Is that what did the MLS rule do to him? I know he's in Japan now. I cannot believe that's like a 5th club he's been registered to in the last like 2 minutes. But how did the rule affect Thiago? I didn't catch that drama or that gossip. But feel free to educate me. Slam Duncan, good to see you. Lots of you heroes and legends joining us live and loud. Let me check. There's about 60, 67 of you. And guys, we're only at 22 likes. Come on. If you're sitting chilling with us for a wee bit of GF Friday, you're an OG. You're a hardcore. You're here for the good stuff. Support the channel. Hit the like button. See if we can conjure up any more guests. The door is still open. Someone else might fly into the lounge. You never know. Or what do we call this place, Charlie? The lounge, the suite, the battle room. I don't know. The chat will come up for a good name.
I think lounge. Was okay. I went for like when we were designing it, it was kind of like a gentleman's club cigar lounge sort of thing. So
the manager's lounge.
Yeah.
Hucker is saying because he was constantly sold for profit, so he was basically like money laundering system. You know, like swap you for GAM, get some you know, first trade pick slots swapped around and all that caper. Jonathan, good to see you. Member for 30 months, love that. Signs from Bordeaux, good 80. Oh, is this the guy we're talking about, Gregerson? Fair enough. The smoking room, Ian, maybe not here. Maybe when we were back in the studio, I could have called it that, but there's no smoking in the house here now, sadly. Not sadly, I don't want to smoke in the house, but you know what I mean. No McBride because he's got the sniffles. Yeah, he's got the old COVID, as he says. So he won't be with us tonight. He's been off his work in his sick bed. Can he be seen in public? McBride's probably joining us in the live chat, but he's probably listening. So fist bumps to you, my man. But yeah, what about yourself, Charlie? Because you are quite a deep MLS gallery in general. Anyway, I know we've been kind of tuning it over and stuff like that. But when you got this announcement, you know, like, you know, has it made you pivot? Anything? Has it made you more excited, less, or you know, what was your kind of stakes?
In general, well, I actually had a few collection pieces. I've got a Charlotte Super Rare collection, so I actually had a few collection pieces listed. Like, because a few of them moved clubs. So as soon as I saw the announcement, I quickly delisted a few of them. So yeah, I think I was like kind of open to selling like the full collection at the start of the season, but I feel like now I'm gonna give it a go because I feel like in MLS especially might be the only league comp that the one division kind of favors everyone because like it's like you've not got PSV that are just gonna, you know what I mean, sit at the top every weekend. Like I feel like with a Charlotte collection, even though like yes they're a decent team, but like I feel like on any given game week they can drop a big clean sheet and one of the forwards get a goal and you'll be there or thereabouts.
Well, that's the thing with the one division part of it. Like, if the stack is only capable of like, like I've not done the numbers on it yet, but I was thinking about my big win I had like maybe just before Christmas. It didn't actually turn out to be that big a win, but I had the fullbacks on 100 points each after the Friday night.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I wonder where that would have finished on a master table. I've not looked into it yet, but what I did start to think about is I was talking about it with Harry and making videos and whatever is like, for my strategy in champion, I'm thinking like I'll probably only have like 5 good game weeks. That's kind of what I'm thinking going into it. And it's like, can I get like 3 good cards out of that, or maybe one post some cash there if I make it into D1 or whatever. And if let's say that same like strategy or theory in the new system, like you can't think about winning 5 times because of how much more competitive it is, but is there still room for like 2 good wins in there? In terms of like the score, like somebody smashes 100, pick the right captain, goalkeeper doesn't let you down. And I think in that case, like it's maybe not better off, but like with a stack or with a strategy that's got such a low frequency potential, then you want the biggest coup when the frequency comes in. Again, I don't know if I've said that too well. I'm all over the shop tonight. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I think again, he's maybe get what I'm driving at with that. So yeah, I think MLS has got, because again, you just don't need to worry about like even the old meme of the Argentina League where it's Armani Diaz. It's not even that, you know what I mean? But it's like
there's no one. There's literally like I don't think there's anyone bar like you don't even see Haney there anymore. He's not. You know what I mean? It's only Messi and like not everyone has Messi. It's not like a cheap. Like it's not like it's a senior where like loads of people have him because he's like really cheap code and not that expensive. Like Puig's injured now. There's no one who's like a guaranteed 100 anymore. Like Hill's even like not at it as much anymore. Like even like when you were saying when you won the league, I think it's the one division in Super Rare. I think it actually benefits only the one league, only the league specific competitions. Like if you look at the team that you won the Dimitrov, what's he called? Yeah. Dimitrov. No, Dimitrov won them.
Yeah. One of them.
Like, yeah, you hit the T100s, but you had a 35, a 33, and a 45 from your free.
Yeah, the rest of the team. I remember that as well.
Shit the bed. Like, and I feel like league comps, you can get away with that as long as Barca don't smash, Real Madrid don't smash. You can get away with it, and that's why I think it kind of benefits the league specific comps because you're not like I think like regional comps, someone's always going to hit 100 no matter what, and it's going to like in a regional comp you don't get away with 35 or 45.
Yeah. I think all of my kind of points on the Super Rare Master or the one leaderboard thing definitely aren't as pertinent in the single a single league comp because, like you say, there's just you're because what you're trying to strike in that kind of situation is that your differential stack or your less likely stack hits and the more likely shit doesn't. Yeah. And when you've got the Dutch league, the Belgian league, this league, that league, all intertwining, that's quite a hard thing to pull off. Whereas if it was just Belgium, you could get away with that. Dender beat somebody 4-0. You're happy. I know Belgium doesn't have its own league, but just to use an abstract example. Yeah. And the goals are flying in, by the way. Somebody told us earlier, Ekitike 1-0 for Frankfurt. And we've also got Roma 1-0 with Dovbike. Let's hope that Angelino's got the assist on that. We've got some Evander fans in the building as well with Graham.
Going back to your original point of what my plans, I've got like 2 Charlotte teams from last year limited, and I annoyingly last week, it was a week or 2 ago, I traded out at Rare, Dane Sinclair and Dengi because I just thought I'm not going to go MLS, and I'm slightly regretting that now because I think the prices have like double them, both of them.
Oh, that's a sore one.
Yeah, just a little bit. But at the prices at Ray, I'm slightly surprised if you look at someone like Wolf Zaha, who like feasibly could hit 90s every week. Like I don't think that's if he gets going and he's settles in, he could easily hit 90s every week. He's only like 58 quid in season. Like personally, I think when the early access cards get released, I'd be surprised if he wasn't double that. I'll be honest.
I think Zaha could be a top 5 forward. And the problem always is with these MLS situations is, especially a guy like Zaha, who does come in with profile, who does come in with, expectation. Some of them just are there to play and they're ready and they go for it. And some of them, as we've seen, don't quite arrive straight away. And you can be sitting there thinking, oh, I could have waited and bought this other guy who is hitting and then got this guy out on lack of form price.
Like, did you see, I think Pookie got bought out today.
Yeah, I did see that. He's way back to Helsinki.
Well, I mean,
they're not even in Europe.
A step down, like big time, innit?
Big time
like,
step down.
Before he went to even who was it? Minnesota. Like he was like still like really good. Crazy.
Part of the statement I read was to be back next to family, but like he's obviously made a fair few packets, so fair play to him if he wants to see him
rotten as well, isn't
he? Yeah, sure. I'm just waiting to look at I'm going to look at Helsinki and look at the Finnish division here, just to see if there is any blue X's for him. But like Pukki, like I remember when Celtic signed him, he's got a really funny career, and I don't suppose anyone listening to this would have looked at his history or whatever before this, right? But see, before Celtic signed him, he played for Helsinki, maybe done good in Europa League qualifiers or something like that. But then he signed for Schalke, got a goal in the Champions League somewhere somehow, went back to Helsinki, scored a bunch of goals for them, went to Sevilla, scored like 4 goals for them, and then flopped, and then went back to Helsinki, and then we got him at Celtic, and then he wasn't that good for us.
I didn't know he was at Celtic.
Pukki, did you not?
No.
Oh, that's why I like Pukki. That's why Pukki's right. That's why everyone in the chat's always like Pukki, because there's a lot of Celtic fans. He was kind of mince for us, mate. He didn't score that much, but he wasn't that bad. Mm-hmm. But like, it just wasn't it. Yeah. And we let him go for like nothing to Denmark. And it was in Denmark where he like caught fire and Norwich got him. And then he's obviously then, he's just had a mad career. This will be like his 4th stint in Helsinki. It's just a mad career path. Yeah, they've probably got a locker still sitting there waiting for him,
I suppose he's like 34, so. But, yeah, you'd expect him to be still doing all right in MLS at that stage, wouldn't you? But obviously not.
So they've not started their season back yet. Or they'll be starting a new season in April. It's probably the better way of putting it. Mm-hmm. And if I look at HJK Helsinki, they have no friendly, so they're not in Europe. Maybe they'll be in Europe next year. But yeah, that Pukki card is going to be sitting gathering dust for a fair bit of time, to say the least. But Pukki, I've seen that one. But it was us for like a year. We spent a couple of mil on him.
Really?
Maybe from I can't remember what it was from, but it was rubbish. Maybe it was Schalke we bought him from, and maybe he went back on loan to Helsinki or something. But that's like his 4th time being there or something. It's just a funny set of circumstances. And yeah, Finland is like, with all due respect, I know we get some Scandinavians that join us, but football league ranking standard wise, like Finland is like right down there. Like their teams don't get qualifiers at any good level. You never see them in group stages predominantly. And then they've got some fine internationals, but I guess they must just get hoovered up at a young age into Germany and Denmark and stuff, Yeah. Oh, Jordan, no way. I don't believe that. Jordan Morris is going to Portland. That's like going from Celtic to Rangers up there. Like, obviously it's not anywhere near the same, but Graham, tell me that can't, for 150k in GAM and a super draft pick, like that feels like a troll. Jordan Morris is like club legend status. They would let him go to Portland for 150k. Feels weird. Playing with their head rather than their heart, perhaps, up there. Can't believe he would go to Portland.
Well, they are like quite stacked up top there now, aren't they? Who was it that went there?
Areola
and Areola. Yeah.
I find that a weird one.
Yeah, isn't it?
I don't know if he is a Seattle native actually, but he was like drafted from. He was like the thing with Jordan Morris. I always remember is like he came in the college draft, maybe the same year as Jack Harrison, or maybe before Jack Harrison, actually. But he was like, I know, do you know what it was? He was like the first guy I remember playing for America and scoring for America, and he hadn't played a game of MLS. He didn't play for a team. He was in like university or whatever. And then he came out the draft, and it was like Jordan Morris. Everyone was pure high on him.
Yeah.
And also he went to Seattle, and he's had injury problems. Went to Europe, didn't work out, and all the rest of it. But he was like he's been a proper big deal in America. So again, because he was drafted, I don't know if he's really that bought into it. Also, it's America. I don't know if there's mad hardcore families of Seattle Sounder fans that, if he goes to Portland, we'll disown him. I don't think it quite works like that. But
yeah, I don't think. Yeah, it's not really like that in America, is it? It's like the rivalry's on as like fierce or like that they're hours away, so doesn't quite hit the same.
Yeah, it does seem strange. I think it's a troll account. Yeah. Portland is just anyone but Portland had have bought it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, you got to be a brave man to get managed in the film level.
And that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be ruined.
I wonder who Swansea manager was, if it was Graham Potter or something. So I was going to make a joke there about who the Swansea manager would have been, but no idea. No idea who brought me Swansea. And if we remember any other players to put in that wee MLS list, I'll have that sitting on Sorare data in case we want to add that in. But no, I'm overall quite excited for MLS, and see kind of what you were saying with your Charlotte stuff in terms of like, you know, the collection, the price of it or whatever. One thing I wanted to throw at you, right, is see the new multi-collection ability for Classic. Are you going to go and get another 2 Kalinas?
I've got 2 Kalinas, so I've got one in the same collection. Well. No, so I've
just tap into that limited 5% you've got sitting there.
I've got the full collection at 5%, and I've got a Kalina from like the year before. But I'll be honest, I didn't really think of that, so I'll probably be doing that. So I'll be upgrading my old Kalina that I've had for like ages, and then get the 5% on him. So yeah, I'll be doing that.
Because I was thinking with this new rule change, like part of the restriction I've had with my Celtic strategy is I have 1 Kuhn, 1 Engels, and 1 Schmeichel. Schmeichel's obviously I've got multiples of him anyway, regardless of collection bonus. But now I'm like, I might just go and get another 2 of them across the year, and then I've got my 3 ready for Classic next year. Then next year I'll get in-season ones, and then I'll have 4, and I can do the stuff you can do with them all. So it really does swing the door open. But when you were talking about this, I was thinking, it's a shame. Like for me and my MLS, like my New York City collection, like of that, there's not any card I would want a copy of. You know, really, maybe Sean John is a goalkeeper, but that's not something that's like, that'll work out great. You know, better make sure to do that. You know, if you're Charlotte, one, have a lot of guys active in the league, and you don't even you don't even need the full thing to have a copy. You just need like 3 Kalinas, whoever the captain picks are, whoever the boss kind of players are in the equation. Just get a few copies of them, and like Classic is going to be just about grinding out cards. You know, and if you can get like just 3 Kalinas sitting there on 15s, you know, like that's a big pedic away straight away, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Like I bought an Anthony Gordon like about a month or 2 ago because I was going in season prem, and I've like purposely bought them from the last year's, which is not what I've got 5% on. And I bought like 10 like dud cards just to get them up to like another percent, and like obviously I could have just bought the one I've got 5% on from like 2 seasons ago, which is slightly annoying, but yeah, definitely opens doors for like if you've got like a smash guy, it's really easy to just get like kind of getting around one and like think I'm gonna buy him and he's just gonna be on mad percent, and I don't even, you know what I mean. Whereas like someone could buy a guy like that, even if it's like an in season, they could buy Messi off the rip, and then he'll be on like 5% because you got the in season bonus. If you've got the like 5% and the in season bonus, you're on 10%. And you got both of them. Like it's massive.
It's huge. I think it's going to be a big difference. I say, like, you know, when I did my reaction to it, when I read that change, I was like, I like that because of kind of the number one problem it solves is like you win a card you've already got and all that shit, you know, that we all have kind of experienced vicariously or directly ourselves. But the implication of you could just buy like 3 copies of all the main guys once you've got the tertiary pieces anyway, and just have like, and McBride left me a comment. I've not actually went back to all the comments, but McBride left me a nice comment in the video that we put out on the channel saying like, well, if Pranksy picks like 3 Man City teams and then they flop, the thing with that example I was given was like, Pranksy's got 3 teams that he stacks individually, but if he then has those 3 teams and then has triplets of them as well, if he's going triple Man City, they're at home to Ipswich. It's not like against Arsenal away or something. You know what I mean? If he's doing that all-in approach, he knows.
It's risky. But I remember, I think Nep said like he's always wanted to just have an Arsenal, 3 Arsenal teams going out at the same time, and like if he wins, he just like
it's the same team and it just copies in.
But yeah, I think you will see with MLS especially people just buying the full collection, and then another half of the collection of just like the good guys, like the keeper, like the best 2 defenders, the best 2 mids, the best 2 attackers, and just running it twice.
Yeah, and even alternate it a little bit with like that 5th card. Did I take the defensive mid? Did I take the fullback? You know, and
I think we will start seeing people hit double podiums and stuff like that soon. I think we'll definitely see that.
There's Man U's resolution was to own a podium.
Yeah, I think it's possible now with you can now like get double of the collection bonus on like the same card. Definitely possible.
It's definitely
because obviously like your Celtic stuff, like you've got shitloads of the cards and of some of the collections, and I believe you're still not 5% on some of them.
There's only one.
Yeah,
I'm at 4, and I would need to get like 10 cards now to go and do it, and it's like, why bother? Like,
and you've probably got like a smash, like someone like a Carter Vickers from that's on like 4%, whereas like most people who run the Celtic stack probably have a 5% collection of Carter Vickers. You know what I mean? So you're at a detriment. So
yeah, I do have 2 other Vickers that are on 5%.
So you're good
or 3 actually. Yeah, I'm up to 4 Vickers I think now. Wow. But yeah, no, I get the point all the same, of course. But yeah, it's more for those in-season copies as well, because it's to make that, you know, and anyone who watches the lineup building will know that's probably one of my buzz phrases recently, but that classic pressure, like when you are looking at the cards you've got, like even if you just, again, we've seen it in the community when we do gallery, some people do just buy all season, they don't bother with classic, and I think that was the advice we gave somebody about a week ago or so, was like, listen, you should actually go and buy like 5 classics right now, you know, and just push this over the top a bit. But that was before this change. You could just buy copies now with some of the in seasons, I guess. But I think it's going to be interesting how everyone tackles it, and it is like buying points with the XP stuff. It means even more so now that buying those, like we're talking about Sinisalo being a tier 2 because he's not had any auctions for so long, but there's going to be mad things like that where there's some backup keeper that's got like, you know, like 10 copies somebody needs, or you know, but some funny prizes and crafts that maybe came out of that. Like
backup keepers are like they are valuable. I remember you know who Napoli have just signed. They did a swap deal for the keepers. They got like what's he Scuffet, is he called?
Oh yeah. Scuffy or Scuffert. Yeah.
So they did a swap deal for Capriel, who's on their bench, and they've got some other bench guy in, and like the in season, like there's 2 of them just won an auction. They go for like 50 quid each. Crazy.
Yeah, I went and got Max Aarons quickly for a tenner just for the wee Valencia collection. quickly swapped that one in. I don't think it'll be mad good, but you never know. But yeah, I was also thinking on that note there, if you did have the Napoli collection, you could just go and buy more of those Napoli Capriles. You've got your merits. You've got 6 in seasons on, you know, 5% of the one collection. If you could be super cute on that front, it does open up a lot of interesting avenues. It really does mean that classic. I know all this is going to be like maybe a bit more spoken about or focused on for in season, but it all filters into classic eventually, and it's going to be like classic. You need XP, you need collection bonus. Like MLS is going to be a bloodbath for it, because so many people like you, Charlie, have like, you know, MLS collections have been quite easy to throw together. For the most part, like, if you like a couple of guys, squads, don't they?
The squads are so deep, it's crazy.
Yeah, so many people have those squads.
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep thinking.
Yeah,
I think I'll be.
Yeah, DB get 5%. I've said everything. Sorry, go on.
Okay, I was just going to say, so it's because it'll be much more common that there's so many like full team stackers. There's a lot more 5% hanging around compared to like maybe the Bundesliga or La Liga or Champ or whatever. You know, it feels like MLS is That's kind of been the bag for a lot of people for a while. Is like, oh, it will cost me £7 to buy 40 players to finish the collection. All right, I'll just go and do it, So yeah, naturally, it just feels like there'll be more of them lying around. And MLS has been on for this will be the 5th season of MLS on Sorare. And I know the big head cards are kind of most people don't look at them, but there's a lot of copies going around. There's a lot of old cards with big XP as well.
Mm-hmm. There's something I'd be interested in them adding another XP differential soon, to be honest.
Against limited?
Just against everything, because I see, because I run a Newcastle stack, like the amount of people who are like really close to 15% now is just mental. You've got like 7 people on the same team, all at like there's like 3 at 15%, and then there's like another 5 at like 14 or 13 and a half. And it's like in 6 at the start of even maybe at the end of this season or the start of next season in Classic, you're gonna have 10 guys from the exact same team, most likely picking Isaac as captain. And like, I think there needs to be another XP of some sort to try and separate them.
Yeah, something that I know Rissu's been on the case for quite a lot for having a completed collection, getting a wee kicker percent. It's something I've kind of been quite happy with, that they changed the unique and super rare collections to have 16%. Because the very rare occasion I've got a super rare playing down, it feels like I'm kind of a wee bit in the old days of Pro, where it's like, oh, I've got a card that's a bit better than everything else because it's blue, 1%, but all the same. So yeah, maybe some sort of revisiting to that where, maybe like guaranteed complete gives you an extra.
I'm even thinking like something like fitness that they've been off or something like that to add
fitness
to separate them. Not like fitness per se, or something else to add a differential to the scores, so everyone's not sat in the same points.
Yeah, that is a quandary, isn't it? Especially for your kind of situation where.
Yeah, I think currently it's not a problem, but I think at the start of the season it will be a problem. Yeah. Yeah,
I could see that. I think Ian's on the money here for a lot of people. Europeans just pick a team and back them. I've always been a New York City supporter since they were formed, since inception. I'm a lifelong fan of the club, which I'm quite happy with. But I've always liked Seattle because of where my family are from. They're from that kind of part of the world.
Yeah.
And Seattle are a pretty good team. So yeah, I think like the thing about MLS is it doesn't really matter too much about some of this stuff. You just kind of find a reason to like somebody, and you're kind of then just stuck to them.
Yeah, like I think I bought like Kalina, I think was my first Charlotte card, and then I've just like kind of ended up just buying them all from there. And like I was speaking to Trip and B quite a lot, who's a Charlotte fan, and like he had like a show he does and he still does. Like I started watching that, so I was getting all the information, and they were doing like interviews with the players and stuff like that. So yeah, it's like it's easy to kind of, because it's such a big league, it's kind of easy to just focus on one team. I think maybe.
Guys are talking about fitness, but it's on MFL. It's a bit different there because it's like those guys have played a football match and you're managing a squad and stuff. So I don't think that's comparable, guys.
I'm not saying fitness per se, but I'm saying just
another differentiator. Yeah. Yeah. Graham's on your. Graham stacks Newcastle too, doesn't he?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, he's drinking your tea there as well on that one. But yeah, something else. Yeah, I think like you normally notice these kind of little problems when you're in certain situations in Sorare, and it's about it's kind of like, yeah, I see this is a problem, but this is not something that they'll solve now, but it's something like you can see it happening. Like it always will happen in limited quicker, or you'll feel it in limited a bit harder compared to rare, super rare, and all the rest of it. So
yeah. Maybe it's just like a Newcastle problem because like everyone picks the same 5. It's kind of like you've got to have Isaac, Gordon, and Bruno. Obviously, you've got the keeper, and then like Hall's kind of the guy at the moment, so it's difficult to pick anyone else.
It feels like you're going to be in a Joe Hart situation soon with goalkeepers, doesn't it?
Well, I bought Trafford a few weeks ago, thinking like because it seemed like Dubravka was gone at one stage, so I thought like the dominoes would start to fall, but I'm now just kind of left with Trafford. which isn't a bad thing because obviously he's really good. But yeah, that I was trying to get ahead of the curve in that sense of if I get a Trafford in now, no one else is going to have them.
Yeah, I thought you were a Geordie Graham. I thought that. I've just got this G here, but I'm pretty sure your icon's normally black and white in some way. Well, see, the thing with Newcastle is like it's maybe a wee bit to them, but some stacks are like that where there's like a 5 to pick or like a 6, 5.5.
Like someone like City, like you can kind of pick not anyone, but like there's a lot of people who could like go off. Even the same with like Celtic, really. Like you could pick AJ, CCV, Trusty, even Taylor, like in defence. So
yeah, so it's maybe it's one of those ones with the stacks a bit leaner. You need maybe something else, which again then maybe paints that back into collections, maybe solving it somehow. Like
yeah, possibly.
I know if you're saying like there's 5 on 15, if all 5 you have complete collections and you're all on 16, it doesn't actually help you any. It's still the same problem, but maybe just keep some of those 13, 14 guys away if they have a differential on their side or something. I don't know. But yeah, I don't like the idea of the whole fitness things. I just hated the idea of like managing when I can't play Rafinha this week because I didn't think about it. You know, I hate the idea of that. Like he's nerfed because I've done something or just been doing nothing.
Yeah.
Do you think having the top 3 to 5 clubs with a 4 to 5% bonus and then mixing with teams rather than playing a stack is a good strategy, or once the stack smashes, is it likely to beat it? No, off topic. Novelty, love the avatar, by the way, new in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Fist bump. I think what you're talking about here, and Charlie can definitely speak well to this as well, is probably the best way to go about it. You know, overall, is like you need to have like a nucleus of a team, somewhat reliable. They'll play. They don't lose the majority of matches. If we're thinking about goalkeeper, but in your core, they have the ability to be clean sheet capable more often than not. And then it is about like Morgan Gibbs White's at home to bottom of the table, or Isak is at home to bottom of the table, and can you slide that guy into? Because again, with any of these stacks, like you mentioned Celtic there's not a good Celtic strategy out there that doesn't have Berardi in it at the moment, you know, because the forwards are just an absolute nightmare this year, you know. So with even some of these bigger clubs, there's still like an SO5 problem to be solved there. If it's PSG, it might be the goalkeeper. If it's Real Madrid, it might be the goalkeeper. Actually, if it's any team right now, it could be the goalkeeper. But I think that's a good way of thinking of it. Novelty is you're not just going to live with one team, but you'll try and like slice some together. You know, kind of like a cocktail is kind of what we've called it before. How do you see it, Charles?
I think it's. I agree. Like you don't have to have the full collection. You don't have to have the full stack. Even just having a goalkeeper and a defender just like kind of works. Or just like for that Neon special, I just bought Anderson and Hudson-Odoi and just put them up front, and then just like. But yeah, I know someone who did have a Newcastle collection like the same year as me, put like the full Newcastle collection in, like it's like the usual 5, but put Elliot Anderson in, who now plays for Forest. So that's like kind of a really good differential as well. But yeah, I think if you want to compete with a stack in Classic, you need, or even in season, you need that 4 or 5%, unless you're going to like purposely put a differential in that you know everyone's going to play Hall. I'm going to put Burn in, something like that.
Yeah. And then I was thinking, just to keep on the kind of Newcastle analogy, like the weakest, who would you say is the weakest out of the 5? Maybe Gordon?
Oh, I'd say Hall on form.
Hall?
On form, yeah.
So, and I know you've had this opportunity twice and sold them. So, is that the optimal strategy to play Trent in defence of the Newcastle stack? You know, I was thinking more. I was going to go, ditch Gordon, get Palmer.
Yeah.
You know, like kind of thing.
It still works. Like you can, definitely. I think you can almost say that for every stack. If you even talking City, you think you've got
no striker,
or even you chuck keeper in because they can't keep clean sheets, or you take Haaland out because he's a bit of a 60 or 70 merchant, and you put in Salah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think that kind of like you can have a full team of matchup playing, which is fine. They can be very successful as well. It's a lot of heavy lifting, but I think like you want to have that bedrock of Newcastle, Liverpool, whoever your team is, whatever you think that stack could be, and then it's you're fixing the problems of it, or where can I make it better, or how can I get more reliability into it? Because even like Burn has been fine for you recently, hasn't he? But Burn's always been a bit of an up and down card generally, hasn't he? So if you know when you can play him, brilliant. But if you know he's crap now, you need let's just throw Van Dijk in for a week, or whoever. I know you're not a Liverpool guy, obviously, but take your pick of other options.
Yeah, there is it is a disadvantage not having the 4 or the 5%, but there is ways to. It's not the be all and end all. You can't get around it.
Look at this, Van Hecke and Newcastle 1D1.
Yeah, wow.
Paints the picture perfectly for us there, doesn't it? It's like me with Real Madrid. I don't play a Madrid defender. Yeah, that's the best way to play Real Madrid is not with all the defenders have been mints this year. And the league is kind of starved of them anyway. So yeah, I think we're all on the same kind of page with that. You can do a full team thing, obviously, but you're then, and I know from doing it with Celtic, you're really tied to getting. So again, the main thing to think about is you need, with XP or without XP, it depends how you want to think about it. I like to think about raw scores because then the XP just helps make up for any room for error. If you think, this guy should maybe do a 72 and he does 68, if you've got XP, you're fine. But that's what you're looking for a lot of guys, is you're looking for guys that are in the 70 realm. For that specialist thing, if you're 60 plus guys, I'm looking at guys that can do 80 is the kind of the bar. You need to kind of think of it in that context. And if you've not got a team, if you're thinking about winning divisions and playing hard in D1, if you're looking at any position and thinking, I don't know if this guy's got 70 in him, then that's where you're looking to upgrade or enhance.
Yeah.
Gaz has summed it up here perfectly.
Yeah, the amount of times, like, I remember of like the past 6 months, Kyogo's just killed you on like a 35 or even 60 is not like, you know what I mean? It's just...
Not even a 28. If we prick off a BCM, not touch the ball any other time.
Yeah.
But yes, that's been painful for sure. So it's not, there's no exact way of doing it, but I think this is all just kind of general best practice and whatever. Mm-hmm. So again, anyone that I think has ever went into a full team stack does get that little moment of, let's just go and get a different defender in this week because I cannot be bothered with that fullback screwing me or that defender just crap in the bed with 42 or whatever.
Yeah, I've even done it in season. Like, I've just bought a Newcastle stack, but I've just got a cheap one. Like, I've got Livramento, Murphy, and Tonali instead of like the usual Hall, Bruno, and Isak.
You've got the full club, but that's a fun lineup to get out. And I've been forced to play those lineups in limited because I've just not got the space otherwise. They're just 4 years of Celtic. It's a lot to jam in, But I think that's part of the reason I went for it with limited as well in that sense, because I think if you do have the full squad, you really should cover those bases for the game. Tonali's the highest scoring mid for when Livramento does the thing and he's the highest scoring defender. You don't want to have all those cards, all those collection bonuses, and he's fucking training, Like...
Yeah, I think I was looking at it. I think it's one of the first times I've put all the starting 11 in like proper teams and not like one in a all-star without a keeper or whatever. And I've got I've got the full starting 11 in a team, and I've got like Dean Henderson in like the last team.
Nice. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I also like, because I've got the full team, I like to like hedge against the captains. So even if I think this week Gordon's going to be the best scorer, I try to pick a different captain in each team in case he's not. So if he's the best scorer in my best team, it works out and I'm probably going to win. But if he's not, then one of my other teams should do well.
Yeah.
And I know you're slightly different. I think you like to just pick the guy in all the teams, don't you?
Yeah, so that's part of so I look at every entry quite precious in that sense of like, I don't want to put a playing goalkeeper with a punt team, you know what I mean? When I've got 4 Vickerses and 3 AJs and whatever else. So I rather just pick the best team every time, but I still want to have that base covered, which is why I say they've just spelled it limited.
It's difficult to do because obviously you've just not got the keepers for it. Like, we're quite similar in the fact that we've got the full starting 11 like twice over probably, but you can't play them twice over because there's just not enough keepers.
Yeah, that's it. Imagine you had I've got 4 guys. Imagine you had 4 Gordons, you had 4 Burns, you had 3 Livramentos. You wouldn't want to go, I'll put Burn or not Burn. I'll put the worst guy in this team just in case. You'll go, no, I'll just put Burn back in. Thanks. Just make sure that team works.
Like, how often, if Dazamaya starting, how often have you put him in 4 competitive teams that are all that rare, essentially?
I actually did it the last time. He got a good score
Was it
recently.
last? Yeah, it was last week or something, wasn't it? When you did it.
I had 4 Dysons in, and I think it was the only striker I picked, and it came in clutch big time because like Kuhn didn't play. I think he was
It was when Quinny
expected.
DMP'd, wasn't it? Yeah.
And it was like
is that the one you
the
won?
Dysons. I think I did. Yeah, I think I did one.
Yeah.
Is that the Salah team? Maybe no.
Well,
I can't remember now.
might have been. I don't know.
Let's check. Wasn't that long ago? Was it maybe game week? We're midweeks again, even numbers. Game week 42, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, Dyson.
Yeah, it was.
Dyson. Dyson. Oh, I put Kuhn in from the bench. I thought if he comes off the bench, I'll be happy. So I couldn't not play him. But I was raging. I had him with Schmeichel.
Yeah, but even that, you've got Dyson in a limited team there. Like ideally you want that in a rare team, but it's just the keepers are just not. You know what I mean? It's just so hard to get the 4 keepers out. It's crazy.
You are spot on. But this is a little bit different because it was All Star and shit.
Yeah,
so it was only like it says you are spot on. But just in case anyone shouts that in the chat. But yeah, I just went all Dysons and came in so good, man. So happy. And all the AJs as well. All 3 of them get out. And then, you're just trying to cover the bases with some of the alternates here and there.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the script for this, because I think if I knew he was on the bench, I wouldn't have put Schmeichel.
That was when he pulled out.
In the warm-up.
Yeah, that was when he pulled out in the warm-up.
I've only got one Kuhn, so I was like, but imagine I had triple Kuhn.
Oh, you play him on every team. He's the best. He's probably the best SF5 scorer, isn't he? I would say. By the defenders, he's probably the best attacker / mid.
So that's quite good. I like that this Taylor's won that card as well, because he's been with me for ages.
Well, yeah. Will that be your last win of him?
Oh, I don't know, by the way. The Hamid Salad. Won the Pascal Gross as well.
Wow.
I thought I'd won a wee bit more than this. Damning. A lot of thresholds, this card. This card loves a threshold. Yeah. I think Taylor was a threshold merchant for me. For the most part. But yeah, looking at Almiron's again. His wee smiley face. 20 quid for a classic, man. Some of these, again, we're looking at in-seasons predominantly for some of those transfers, but some of the classic prices are just like, why the hell not? Like,
I can't remember how much I paid for mine. I think I only bought mine last week, or like 2 weeks ago. And I went and bought. Yeah, I paid. Let's have a look. £8 for Almiron, Longstaff, and the cells.
Nice. He did have some Saudi rumours back then, but didn't he? So good discount.
Well, he's had Saudi rumours for like a year.
Yeah.
So like ending up back at Atlanta is like as good as it gets, really, isn't it?
Absolute jackpot. Yeah. Because like I think my first focus in terms of the MLS is like making sure it's big deja vu for my European season, but it's making sure my classic can do something. Yeah. Because of again this New York collection has probably cost me the same as my Celtic collections. Like
I've got stuff like that where it's like if it wasn't for my Newcastle collection, like the money that would just completely down the shitter on shit collections is mental. Like I remember at the start of the season, I bought the Courtrai keeper. Like he didn't have cards before. The one of went for like 160. I got the 2 of for like 140, and then the 3 of went for like 45 quid. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done? And I think he's played like 6 games. He's just been injured for ages. He's been around. Like, yeah. Even the Charlotte Super Rares, like before, like obviously it did all right at threshold, but after that, I think I've won 2 cards and they've both been shit. I'm not crafted anything. The limiteds, well, I've got the full collection on 5%. I think I've won less than a tenner cash.
Wow.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Limited is unforgiving, but there's so many so much availability of the best cards.
No, I think a lot of that's kind of down to the team that like they didn't have like it was at the point like I was captaining Kalina every week because they just didn't have someone that scored well.
Oh yeah,
like it was brutal.
That is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
I was going to pick something up on that. Because we've been looking at these guys like Zaha and whatever that are transferring over, and I definitely think the focus should be like, can you get an in-season copy of these guys? But I would not overlook for anyone in this frame of mind, just get the classic one in, because the in-season team, when you're at 4-1, you'll get some scores delivered to you, and even if you've got a classic lineup, then you know what you're missing out on. Nothing, you know.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up with when you mentioned it a minute. People go like, people going about classic is like it's dead. Like I win. I've got a reasonable amount in season, and I win close to fuck all of it, and I win 90% of my rewards in classic, and like top rewards. So it's like
You've got a very mature classic setup, but like you've had cards for a long time.
That's
you know, a lot of people are busy, aren't they?
Yeah, but like I've got a reasonable amount in season, and like it's the wins are so few and far between. It feels like. Whereas like the classic team, maybe it's just because it's to Newcastle, but like I feel like I can rely on it, if you know what I mean, to like churn once a month or something like that.
Clubsy's asking, is it worth buying a cheap MLS team? Now, that's a bit of a difficult question to kind of come away with an answer. See, with the guys we were looking at, if they deliver as good as they should, if you can get quality players that are doing 70 to 80 points for like 20 quid, you can get a goalkeeper for around the 50 quid mark. So what you're talking about for an outfield, let's just say 250 quid. That's probably like and that's imagining you're getting good scorers around the 20 quid mark. Then yeah, you could have fun with that. But classic prices will go down when the MLS auctions come out. So like I don't, because it's just like the word I've been using is constipation. I've seen it 1,000 times on Sorare where the secondary market just holds where it is. You know what I mean? And it just goes dry because nobody else wants to spend money on those cards. We all know the in seasons are about to come out, and like what will happen is the in seasons will come out. Tons of money will flood into that section of the market. All of a sudden, people will want to buy off auction, sell on the secondary real quickly for a flip. That you'll see bits of that. But and then what will happen is there'll be active buyers now that don't get Zaha in season, but will get a Zaha Classic, and liquidity will go into Classic. But some of those cards will go down in price because people will then be seeing the in-season prices and going, oh well, if in-season Zaha went for 80 quid, my Classic that's been listed for 40 quid isn't selling. Let me just put it for 35 and see if I can get somebody to nip it there now. And there'll be those kind of opportunities that come to you. So in terms of is it worth it, it probably is if you do it right, but there's no rush. It's kind of my feeling with it in general, and I think in this setting, I would encourage that as well. Like watch from afar, make a list, watch where the prices go.
Yeah, I would double down on that because it's MLS and the fact that like it's just you can't judge anyone until they're like 10 games in. Is what it feels like. Even players who are like I remember when Abada went to Charlotte, you're like, right, this guy's gonna like be class. And like I watched the majority of the games and like he's horrendous.
He's bad in MLS, yeah.
I think he's been horrendous when I've seen him play. He's got like nothing about him. His finishing's horrendous. He's just like I was expecting loads more because like obviously like he was good at Celtic from like what I've heard, but like he just really put. I thought he was at the back end of the season. He wasn't getting dropped, but like just a lot of games where he just got benched. Like even like in the playoffs, he got benched the final game of the season, like in the like best of 3 decider.
What a dauber!
Like I just don't rate him at all. There's so many big names that go to MLS that you think he's gonna absolutely rip it, and they just don't turn up. Like I feel like Zaha, Denki could be that type where like they're either just not work out, they don't settle, they don't play well, they're in a bad team, or they could just be crazy.
The thing with Abada for me is he was at Celtic anyway, he was just always like effective, if you know what I mean. He was just always like, he wouldn't do step overs or whatever, but he'll get by his guy, put the ball into the box, or there's a scramble in the box, you need someone to put their toe on it to get it in. He'll probably just show up, and be in the right spot at the right time. And MLS normally lends itself well to those players, so I'm surprised to hear. I've seen his scores, obviously. I know he's not been on fire, but if you've actually been watching him, that's more valuable. And Minnie saying we've got the Shelderut pick. We did the lineup building last night. Now, you've definitely changed the defender on me here, but that's I can't remember. But I did not pick Mark Guy away to West Ham. Not that I would avoid that, because as we've seen, like West Ham might not have a striker for this game.
He scored midweek.
Oh, did he? No, that's nice. I don't remember who I picked in defence. I didn't pick him. No, for any particular reason of he'll do shite or anything, but I definitely didn't pick him because it's away to West Ham. It's not really a lineup building selection I'd have made. But it looks good. Sheldrup and Atgun in early doors. Maybe wanted a bigger score from Atgun, but 67's a bit on the shy side for a 60+ card.
Is that no DA?
No DA. Wow, yeah. Well spotted. 32.
I'd be raging with that. Obviously, it keeps you alive big time, but like, it could have, you know what I mean? It could have popped off.
Oh, Mertens and Osman done the 70 pluses.
Wow.
Not too bad for them, eh?
Yeah.
A tire sport. That was one of the biggest games of the game week. Is that a bit? No mozzarella.
They conceded first, I'm pretty sure.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Osman pen. Mertens won a pen. Not even an assist either.
Wow.
Jammy AF. Eh?
Yeah.
Atkin was so unlucky. I think many of me must have been watching it. Had to change him. No problem, man. It's just an observation, mate. That's all.
Want to go rugby as well tonight?
Oh no! Is it Philip Cohen season?
No. He's shit. It's never going to be Philip Cohen season. My Captain Kerry got a goal, sorry, which was nice. But the first goal, the comical that I let it go.
Oh yeah, was it?
No, it's just pressing him down and he just misses the ball and just lets them score more or less. And Bolo coming on over Herrera. I haven't seen that one, but BRF, yeah, he looked all right. He looks lively, but I fear he's a bit similar to what they've already got. People that look quite big and look good, but they're not really. Yeah,
Andy Laird, if you're listening, well. Lecomte's a keeper. I told you, Lecomte's a keeper.
Yeah, big time.
Andy Laird, I expect a shout out. Not that I don't get one off you anyway, mate, but next time you say Lecomte, you better say Quinny. That's all I'm saying. Teji shat the bed here, didn't he?
Yeah.
If you said Montpellier were going to win 2-1.
Yeah, expecting him to be involved.
Yeah. Expecting a bit of something out of him, but 10 saves, 7 in the box, 3 diving. He's that kind of keeper. He does stuff, you know. But yeah. I think I've kind of run out of steam on a wee bit of the announcement chat. It's been mainly MLS focus, which has been good fun. I didn't really want to get into the negativity of it all, but I was not that it was negativity, like I said earlier in the show. It was just a wee bit of differing opinions more than anything. But overall, Charlie, this announcement has not been really met with negativity, has it? It's not really been overtly positive, but it's maybe been the thing, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Like, I'll be honest, I was slightly worried they were going to kind of change a lot, and it was going to be really difficult and annoying, but it seems a lot of what I play especially is kind of being left alone. Like, I only play Super and MLS, so like apart from that, they've kind of left everything alone. But one thing I did think on the divisions, I think a good compromise would have been to go 4-3-2-1 in the division. So 4 divisions at limited, 3 at rare, 2 at super, and 1 at unique.
Same.
I think at super rare that would have been nice to just kind of divide into like your lower level cards and players, and then like the whales, basically. I think that would have probably worked out better. But
the whales and the dolphins, that's where it should have been.
Yeah, I think it would have been a lot less intimidating, especially.
Well, like I say, I think the saving grace. Like I've been saying to everyone, my strategy now with Super Rare is play and pray. I'm not selling them. I don't think there's any point in that. Do I buy any more? Who knows? But if they come in once, I'll be doing a victory lap. We'll be doing a video. We'll be live streaming it. You know, I'll be taking that with both hands.
Yeah, that stuck out to me when I watched that video. It was like that comment of play and pray. It kind of is like that, because like you kind of fear the 25 or so prizes. 3 of them's going to go to Pranksy because there's 3 teams. 3 of them's going to go to another whale. 3, you know what I mean? By the time all the huge stacks and massive power players get the rewards, there's probably not a lot left for the rest of us.
I think a little bit of fingers crossed is on maybe you get some essence a wee bit better, a wee bit easier, perhaps.
The essence is massive. Like, I got barely any super rare essence. Like, I'm at 11 at the moment, and that was like, I think that was just the back end of like them last season. I can't remember what it was like then, but after the nerf, like picking up 1 or 2 essence per super rare box is just brutal.
It is.
Like, it's
For how much graft you need in for the boxes. That's probably the most demoralising part of Super Rare this year is the box element of one Super Rare essence.
It's a nightmare. Yeah. Really is.
The Fedus to the whale says, where's the exit? And like I get that. Like they've appeased the paying customers for the most part, you know, because I've not bought any in season Super Rare. So really what's my opinion valued at 0, you know, really monetarily. So I get that element of it. You can only complain to so much. But I think, again, somebody made this point really well. I forget who it was. But like it is an element of card valuation is what they can do in Classic. And if Classic is an absolute no-hoper, then that does factor into not just the price, but the whole ecosystem of the thing, you know?
Yeah.
So it's not something to be over, because like as much as like this is mainly focused on in-season, Classic is the real bloodbath where it's at, because that's where you're going to try and get in-season cards or even get into that massive podium. You're against people with level 20 super rares that have collections. And now, do you know what? See if they fancy going to get another whoever from this 5% collection. They can go get another copy now if they want. The goalkeeper or the striker or whoever. And it's just like, the Fedus to the wheels is probably the best way of putting it. But yeah, if you can cross your fingers, if you can have a little stash of cards and just every week go, hey, let's just hope we win the lottery, then then the change isn't bad, because you can do that now. You can lift out of nowhere.
The one thing that slightly worries me is I feel like the past 6 months or so they've kind of, obviously, like, user feedback is good, but I feel like they're kind of bending a little bit to every bit of feedback they get. And I think they kind of need to put their fork in the ground or whatever it is and like say, this is how we want the game to be played. And, like, we're going to do this. And not kind of like a few big accounts on Twitter that have big galleries say, this is shit, we want rid of divisions. And they've kind of done it. And that kind of worries me a bit, that they should have the game how they think it should be made. Not like everyone's got their own interests. And if I've got a 50, 100, 200 grand gallery, I'm going to tell you how I want it to be played, because that's going to best suit me. And like, if I can get all my cards competing for the biggest prize every single game week, I'm going to want that. But I don't think that's always going to be like massively beneficial for the whole community.
Gaza. They might got them cheap because there might be a bit of a depression situation. So, and again, I've seen that to Harry as well when we're having a bit of a chat. Like, if it does go like super whale centric, like we're kind of doomsday scenario out here now. And again, I use this example, so I was just chatting to Harry, but like the go-ahead Eagle stack, like there might not actually be anyone bidding for them. Those cards could be crazy cheap because like Pranksy or Nanzo or whatever are never going to buy them, because why would they? They're spending the money on our stuff. The differential play doesn't need to be their play, or it's not going to be. So if you could get them like super cheap, all of a sudden, super cheap, super rares, like because it's just super dead in that regard for the differential, then maybe you could get a kind of good news story out of it where it's like, I bought the go-ahead Eagle stack for 50 quid and, because nobody else was bidding on it. So I got them all at minimum bids. So it's not, again, you need to see how it shakes out.
Yeah, I'm just checking what the super essence is. What does it look like? Is it 4?
It's like 4 essence for like 20% entries or something, but you don't get other prize, obviously. So it's like the tail end of the.
I was trying to think if you could, obviously it's not like, but if you could, like, essentially the movement of 3 in season, a 4 in season, can you kind of make that up with the essence and you could quickly craft a card, that sort of thing, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But still it is quite a big ass. What would you have to craft 5 times, is it? Sorry, hit the essence 5 times.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. See all
guys, secret safe words, Gaza. Don't worry, my man. Don't worry. But if it comes in once, you're laughing, obviously. But I get you, like, it's me, Gaza, and there's a few other accounts that are in this community. Obviously, yourself, mate, as well. We've got like that kind of halfway house super rare where you've got like guys that can hit, but you're not like covered in depth, and you need things to go your way for it to work out.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what do you do now? You know, that's the kind of thing that Gaz has been wrestling with. I made my mind up quite quickly again. Like I moved into champ and I'm still in champ, and I don't see any reason to sell them. I don't think there's a market for them. You know, that makes me think, oh, I better sell into this, you know, right now.
Yeah. I just want to say what PSU said about the Super Rare. And if he kind of, I think I'm paraphrasing here, but he kind of said, if you can't compete for the big prizes, that's what limited and rare for. I think that was quite patronizing and very, I think it was borderline rude, and it's like, it's not how it works. People that play limited, they want to move up to rare, and they're not going to be able to buy Palmer and Salah straight away. They should be allowed to compete with not the stars, the tier 2. They could buy the tier 2s and the tier 3s and still try and get cards. That's not how it works. It's just buy the best and compete at the top. Like, there is different ways to play that game.
I wrote "fuck you, Sean" into the live chat about 3 times and deleted it, and then ended up just sending the wee like sweary face emoji with the middle finger in his name. So I ended up I censored myself. First time I've self-censored on the internet in my life. I had to really tame it back there, but I definitely felt that as well, because like he's not totally wrong in that statement to an extent, right? But that's on the proviso that I want to strengthen and can't afford the cards that I need to strengthen.
Yeah.
My gallery does need strengthened if you want to look at it from a purely like competitive analytical standpoint, like you could do with a fucking goalkeeper that doesn't get rested every 5 minutes and is not about to retire. And I get it, but I've seen this to Harry when we were kind of having this chat. I've kind of got 3.5, right? Let's just say I've got 3 playing goalkeepers, but I've got 60 super rares that are like generally tier 2, tier 1.
Yeah.
You know, like that. I've not got a bunch of duds. I do have some, but I've got a lot of good guys that have good matchups. Maybe they don't all correlate together. Part of my problem is putting the mosaic together.
Yeah.
But like, I shouldn't be dead in the water, or I shouldn't feel dead in the water at the very least, you know. And that, so I kind of counter it with that. It's like, how many cards is enough? Is 60 not enough for 3 keepers? Do I really need 80?
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking about here? That you need to have that level of depth or quality depth? I don't think so. I think I've got a good level of, for what it is, quality and depth. I think the ratio of what I've got is not terrible. So it should be. I'm not taking it personally. Maybe it sounds like I am because the way I'm defending it. So I'm just kind of wanting to say that now, that it's just because I suppose he was talking to me.
No, but I felt that, like, I wouldn't even say I'm a super rare player. Like, I just literally have one team. I just kind of just punt out every week. That's like a Charlotte stack I just put out. But like, I just feel it was like unnecessary to see like a lot of the like super rare prize pools are probably put up from people buying the tier 2s and the tier 3s, and like to just kind of disregard everyone that doesn't have all the big boys. It's just I thought it was just wrong.
Well, let's hope. I said like as well in the Telegram group, because Gaza wasn't happy here. Gaza wasn't happy anyway. There was a few people who weren't too happy with that stream for a few things that were said on it by a few different people. Won't go into all of it, but I will not wish it on anyone. But anytime Sean just gets pipped to a reward or something, it might make me smile a wee bit, especially if it's in the sort of context of what I'm trying to say, that he's not recognizing, or what is clear to some people he's not really painting into the equation. So if that was to happen, it'd be a wee bit of like, because again, if I'm getting kind of, as we're talking about this, deja vu to listening to Sean talk about collections, saying that they won't matter and all the rest of it. And I've not heard him retract that yet, but he will. It's not far away, because it's blatantly apparent that you need every fucking point you can get your hands on nowadays, you know, and that's just, people at him are just leaving points on the table, you know, point blank, just leaving it out there. So I'm getting a wee bit deja vu to that, where it's like, you might think something, but when you start actually feeling what I'm feeling, you'll see where you've went left when you should have went right, kind of thing. And I would consider Sean a friend, an internet friend, a community friend, certainly. So there's no hard feelings or anything like that. Gladly tell him to fuck off at any time that we've got a disagreement. It's not the end of the world or anything. All good banter and good chat and that. But yeah, that was probably the only thing that upset me about it. Was he was talking as if it was an objective standpoint on everything, but it was clear to anyone listening to him that it's not objective, because it was quite contradictory at times. You know, it was quite first thought that came into his head for some of it. I think more than anything really that thought out or that elaborate. Just like, I don't care. I don't need to get relegated. Like, you know,
I think
that was it.
Yeah,
you know?
it was more the fact that he was saying like, "Oh, I just moved out limited or rare." Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, imagine someone comes to you and goes, "Oh, I've got 50 quid to spend on rare," and you are just like, "What are you doing? Moved out limited." It's just like, I just found it unnecessary.
Yeah.
But yeah, move on.
I think the high roller vibe does come into it as well. It's probably the last thing I'll say on this topic, so I don't want to bore anyone that's still here with us. But I do get the high roller aspect that you do. I as well want Sorare to be, want Super Rare to be like, that high stakes, more kind of arena. But again, like to fund that, Sorare need to sell a lot of Super Rares. And I don't think this move increases their Super Rare customer base.
Yeah,
I think it decreases it. I think next year, like headcount, people will buy less Super Rares. Maybe they'll sell just as many or the right amount or whatever, because like we've talked about, like Pranksy can buy 4 Anthony Gordons now if he wants, or 3 or whatever, you want to think about in the new season and do that. But like the go-aheads and these other teams will just, so anyway, I feel like
I think if they really want to get Super Rare back up and going, like I think it'd be really interesting to implement this MLS cap thing in there and try that out, see if that has a positive impact on it. Because I think one thing that people are could be underestimating with this cap thing is that if it's not hit 400 every week, it could really raise the floor of some of the like tier 3s and stuff.
Sorry, I couldn't help read that. Gaza. Love it, mate. Sorry, Charlie. Sorry.
No, I was saying I think it could, the cap mode could push up the floor of a lot of the tier 3s and stuff. It's a bit like a limited and rare, and some of the players that can score just like 50s and stuff. Like if the target isn't super high, so doing that super rare, could be really interesting. Maybe that lifts, like I've got some of the super rare cards in my gallery that are literally like a tenner, and you can't sell them for a tenner, but like they start and they score like 45. Like it'd be interesting a way to try and lift them up a bit. I think then that'd have a knock-on effect to try and even boost the prize pools if they can, instead of getting a $5 or not even selling some of the bottom end super rares, getting 30 quid for them. You know what I mean?
Completely. But yeah, I think that'll kind of wrap us up for tonight, Charlie. Thanks for coming on and SOSing me. Loved it, mate. Great to have us on. Right. And thanks to the chat, lively interactions. Loved it as well. Let me check the likes, guys. If he's let me down or have we done it? Guys, like on your way out. Come on, change the tab, get your phone in your pocket, whatever. If you've not hit the like button already, make sure to do so. Some of you guys Friday nights are off to a bang. I had somebody play. I don't think it was anyone important. And Charlie, you've been let down a wee bit with Becky.
I'm waiting on a traffic clean sheet to come in against the Magnum, so hopefully that can hold.
Let's hope so. Let's hope it's not all Friday curses around. Let's hope there's a wee bit of joy tonight. Yeah. And thanks everyone. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care.